Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to OCD Recovery's YouTube channel. I wanted to talk about why we are not allowed, well, you're allowed to do what you want, but why you don't want to leave any compulsive behaviors or avoidance behaviors when it comes to OCD recovery. So, in the OCD recovery and anxiety community, there is still a very prevalent myth about what OCD recovery is, where a lot of it is the definition of coasting, where people are having constant panic all the time. The other aspect is that you can leave certain compulsions and reassurance behaviors and get yourself to a robust level of recovery. And that's just not true. So before we go any further, please subscribe, hit that like button. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know if this is something that maybe you've been told. And this might be hard to hear, but it's the truth. And reality and the truth is very important when it comes to what's practical in the OCD and anxiety recovery process. So when it comes to OCD, right, obsessive compulsive disorder, you have obsessions, which then you do compulsions, and then those compulsions keep the cycle alive. Those are mental compulsions and automatic rumination, which are happening as you're still scared. Those are outward checking. Those are any ritualistic behavior, confession, venting. Compulsions and avoidance can take the form in any shape. There's no boundaries on what they should or should not look like. And when you understand that, it's really, really good for our overall progress. But unfortunately, you will not be allowed to keep any of your compulsive behaviors relating to your fears and recover from OCD. Now, there could be an argument made where, like, say someone like me who likes to hike a lot. Let's say I hike 5 days a week. And someone said to me, well, that's a compulsive behavior. I could see the argument for that, but it's not relating to a fear. The behavior itself could be deemed compulsive. Anything could be deemed compulsive. Most people will fall into a compulsive behavior more than likely in their life, whether it's work, whether it's going out to dinner, whether it's drinking coffee. Excuse me. We're talking about the compulsive behaviors relating to your OCD. So if you leave compulsions relating to your fears, you will not reach a robust level of recovery. Even if you leave those little tiny compulsive behaviors, it makes it very difficult to reach that robust recovery. Now, some people say certain reassurance behaviors are okay. Now, when you look at the basics of what reassurance that we would use, where people could be, it's a dichotomy where it's arguing on a pendulum, where it never stops, where we tell people, look, you're not alone and you can get better. Well, people will say, well, you always talk about not reassuring people and that's reassuring. You're right. That is a form of reassurance. But that's not what we're talking about. What we are talking about is the reassurance seeking, looking for certainty. Although I tell you that you're not alone in this journey and I'm here to help you, even if you were alone, you could still get better. Now, I got asked a great question in a call recently where someone asked me, what's the difference between reassurance and hope? In my opinion, on what hope is, hope has reality built into it. Real hope. Reassurance is not that. It's more grand delusion or looking for certainty. So this is what hope would be. You have the ability to put the work in, face your fears, change your beliefs, move with time, and get better from OCD. But there's no guarantee that you will. That's hope. That's real hope. Hope is not grand delusion. Hope is not everything is going to be okay, because it's not. When you tell someone everything's going to be okay, you are lying to them, which is okay. Sometimes you don't want to take a 6-year-old kid and say to them, everything's not going to be okay. I used this example the other day to someone who was struggling with lying OCD and perfectionistic OCD about always needing to tell the truth. I said, if you had a son who was 5 and that son said, is everything going to be okay? You probably don't want to say this. Hey, Jim, statistically speaking, you'll probably die of cancer or maybe a pulmonary disorder. Maybe you'll get hit by a bus. You could die in a car accident. Maybe you might get murdered. You'll probably suffer at some point in your life. Santa Claus isn't real. There's no such thing as the tooth fairy. So lying has a purpose. And one of the big problems I see when it comes to a lot of people saying that if you ever lie, you go against your values, there's a lot of philosophical talk on the internet about that you should never lie, and I disagree with that. Lying has great benefits. You just don't see it that way because you're thinking about it in your mind that you should never, ever, ever lie, and if you lie, you're a bad person. Well, because there's no such thing as a good and bad person in entirety, there's only good and bad acts deemed by different societies and economic structures and religious ideologies. The other thing to think about is that there's no such thing as normal. The word normal, although it exists in the dictionary, there's no such thing as normal in any context, in any place ever. There are just things that the majority of people deem the norm, but that doesn't mean there's a standardized, this is the norm. Now, we use standardized normalities and testing and stuff like that for the better good of humanity, but there is no hard cut, this is the norm, this is the universal principle. Everything, every concept that you know is man-made. Every concept you know is structured through belief systems and perspectives. Nothing is set in stone. I could be completely wrong about all rational thinking, but I put my money on it that I'm not. But I could be. I absolutely could be. I have to take that risk. I was listening to a great Stoic podcaster talking about, taking the risk about being wrong in Stoicism, and that maybe one day Epicureanism, where you live for more short-term pleasures, might have been the way to live your life. But I accept that I might be wrong on that. I also accept that I could go back to suffering with sensory motor and go back to a mental hospital. Who knows? We don't know. So reassurance and compulsive behaviors relating to OCD cannot be present in order to recover, no matter what anyone's telling you. I have to be blunt about that because many people think that you actually need to do these behaviors in order to get better, and you don't. So it's a little bit shorter of a video today. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Let me know what you think. Let me know if there's any other mini myths that you want me to see me cover, or if there's any philosophical talks. And we have a lot of webinars coming up. I've always been covering this in the YouTube videos. So email phil@ocdrecovery.com and ask about the webinars or the coaching services, and hopefully I see you soon. We have a lot of fun. So thank you so much, and as always, have a great day.